I don't agree with the tactic, although I understand it. So
I know that this is going to kind of tie into the Mercedes thing a little bit.
There's a reason I put the order this way.
Okay, so for those who don't know, Williams were driving slow intentionally, and Mercedes took an approach to where they were just going to take George took the drive-through penalty, and then Kimi did it, but gave the position back. But Williams was driving slow on purpose. It caused a big stir in F1, as you could assume, because that's not necessarily what people want in the pinnacle of racing, especially a weekend like Monaco. Now, how pissed off you get is fine, but George Russell's cool because he got his dinner taken care of the other night. So I will give you the floor to explain your positioning and why you feel the way you feel.
Okay. So the real question is what, at least for me.
Oh, and for those who don't know, Williams secured P10 and P9, Sainz P10, Albon P9 points weekend again.
They were moving so slow in Monaco, which if you're watching this podcast, you probably already know what the hell is the deal with Monaco. It's like impossible to pass. We had count them, one actual overtake in Monaco this weekend through 2 sectors.
I didn't know that. Really, only one.
Technically one. So like Bortoleto had his pass on Kimi and he retook it within the same sector, so it doesn't count as an official overtake.
I guess yeah, okay.
Lance Stroll had an overtake this weekend. Yeah, very impressive. World Drivers' Championship material. Someone watching this is going to get a kick out of that. My question is, like, should Williams have been allowed to do what they did? Because there was an outline that I remember hearing during the race that caught my attention when it came to Williams slowing intentionally. There was an opportunity for the race director to like outline and say, hey, you need to be moving at a certain like speed. There's a delta, you know, basically like maximizing race pace and not intentionally slowing, but they decided intentionally not to make that rule, you know, part of the weekend. And in my opinion, what Williams did should not, generally speaking, be allowed, but they did play within the rules. Like I can't hate the game. Like what they did was fantastic strategy.
Well, you can't hate the game. You just can't hate the player. That's kind of how it goes.
Well,
like, they're staying within the regulations of the rules.
Yeah. So I guess what I mean is like, I respect that they did it, but of course it was very frustrating to watch and seeing like the annoyance boil over for George Russell, who was like, screw it. I'm just going to take the drive-through penalty.
And you know what? I'll stand up for you.
I am tired of looking at this Atlassian logo.
I think I'll stand up for you on this. Even if it wasn't a Mercedes, we would still be talking about
it. No, 100%.
Like, even if it was another car that was caught in this situation where they were staring at the ass of the Atlantean forever.
It just jabbed my weekend that much more. I not only had a bad Saturday, but I actually sat there and watched the entirety of the race because maybe I'm a glutton for punishment or something. But I watched the entirety of the race and just lap after lap after lap, just watching this wall of blue sit in front of George Russell and Kimi. It was so frustrating.
That dinner must have been good.
It better have been good. He better have been getting appetizers and desserts. Get him a little cocktail action. But no, it shouldn't be allowed. If you're in Monaco specifically, you shouldn't be stonewalling the rest of the grid. Because not only were Mercedes affected by this, Red Bull were affected by this. I think the Alpine was affected by this of Franco Colapinto because Pierre Gasly got really familiar with, destroying his car pretty early in the race.
Yeah.
I think that if the delta, at least the minimum speed delta, would have been enforced in Monaco, it would have made the 2-stop strategy enforcement that much more interesting.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Because what Williams effectively did was they took the driver that was in 10th and said, slow the pack down enough to give us enough to make a full stop, and then we'll swap the cars and do the exact same.
And then we'll stay in the points.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was great strategy. James Vowles, again, hats off. I mean, it was a super smart play. And obviously Toto Wolff gave him an earful
he was super
from the
proud
second floor of
the
paddock. He just was like, he was very frustrated. The cutaway to Toto Wolff was meme worthy, and it's going to stick around probably for God knows how long. But no, I think it kind of goes against the integrity of the sport.
Okay, so while I do agree with you, penalty or no?
For doing that?
Yes.
If you're found in violation of it intentionally, yeah, I think, yeah. But if I don't think this happens if there's an initial enforcement in the first place. Like if they go, hey, we're going to give whatever team like a drive-through penalty if they're found to be doing this. then no, I don't think it happens in the first place. I think it keeps the 2-stop strategy dynamic a lot more interesting, because at that point, let's say Williams did have to finally pit. Will Mercedes finally get an opportunity to like finally make up some ground?
Yeah.
Maybe Mercedes do land in the points. Maybe that's their 9-10. They kind of salvage something over the course of the weekend if they don't forget that it's a 2-stop weekend, which is apparently was a thing this weekend. But with that prospect in mind, yeah, Mercedes could have very well taken the places on track, and maybe they would have held them because they were overall faster cars that weekend. So I just think it changes the complexion of things. I mean, again, one more time, hats off to Williams for exploiting that. I mean, it was very smart. I think I completely empathize and understand why George Russell was so pissed off about it, because as a viewer, I was pissed off about it.